As time has expired, the chair recognizes the gentlelady from New Mexico, Ms. Stansbury, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hello, Mr. Secretary. It's wonderful to have you here today. We haven't had the opportunity to sit down, but I do hope that we do. And I'm grateful that you're here to talk about the administration's budget for 2026. And certainly I know personally, I have a lot of questions about the budget, but I want to use the majority of my time today to really drill down on one of the core mission areas of Interior, which is tribal affairs. And I know that as former governor of North Dakota, this is a area that you've worked on in the past. I know, at least from things I've read and things folks have told me, you're proud of your work that you've done with North Dakota's tribes. And I know that many of our tribal leaders were actually very optimistic when you were named as the secretary because of that background. And so I think it's within that context that the administration's handling of tribal affairs since January has been so, I'll just say, perplexing and frustrating. In New Mexico, we have 23 sovereign tribes, and I'm the vice chair of the bipartisan Native American caucus here in Congress that includes Mr. Cole and Sharice Davids as the chairs. And as I know you're aware, I mean, the issues that are affecting Indian country because of the administration is vast. And I'm literally hearing from tribal leaders every single day. And amongst the many, many things that folks are saying to me is that they feel like how the administration is approaching tribal affairs is not only broken, but feels like a betrayal. And among some of the issues that come up over and over again is the proposed cut in this budget of almost $1 billion for BIA and BIE, the mass firings and layoffs of staff at BIA that happened over the last few months, and of BIE, the firing of faculty at our 2 tribal schools, which I'm sure you're well aware of, the loss of over 800 employees at BIA and the proposed consolidation of the BIA regional offices, freezing of grants for tribes across the country. We had tribal leaders here just last week talking about they still have frozen grants. Threats to revoking critical protections for sacred places like Chaco Canyon, which I know BLM has reached out to our tribal leaders about. We have an executive order that was revoked on consultation policies. There's an executive order that proposes to turn BIE and tribal education into a school voucher program. We have a reconciliation bill here that the president's trying to push that would eviscerate Medicaid and food assistance to tribal communities, and just general chaos and fear. And you're a CEO, you come out of the business world. And so I respect that quite a lot. I grew up in a family of small businesses, and I'll just say this in a very honest way here, because I think it needs to be said, because many of our tribal leaders are afraid to say this directly because they don't want to have a bad relationship with the department because they need to have a good relationship. What's happening at the department right now is not okay. It's impacting all 570 plus tribes. And they are in crisis right now, spending constant time trying to figure out how they're going to plan for their communities, how they're going to finish projects, what they're going to do if these budget cuts go through. They're in crisis. And when they try to reach out to your office, when they try to reach out to Indian Affairs, when they try to reach out to BIA regional staff, they're not hearing back from people. And part of why they're not hearing back from people is because a lot of people got fired, right? But also because there's a culture of fear inside of Department of Interior. And, you know, I know that there was a kind of shock and awe policy at the beginning of the administration to try to winnow out some of the staff. But because of the tribal trust responsibility, like, this can't continue. It's not sustainable for our tribal governments. So my ask to you in a very earnest way is that you will make space and create opportunities to meet with tribal leaders directly, honestly, and have these honest conversations, that you'll fight to try to reverse the budget cuts that are in this budget, because our tribes can't sustain $1 billion in cuts to BIA. They can't, and I know you know that. I know you know that. I mean, most of this is contracts that go directly to tribes. And to work to try to address these issues and ensure that there's real consultation with our tribes. And I'm short on time, but Mr. Burgum, can I get your commitment that you'll do that?
I would love to follow up with you. You've got some insights. Would like to start out with a meeting with you, but if there's an opportunity to meet with the bipartisan caucus to have a more in-depth discussion and listen to everything that you're hearing, I would look forward to that.
I would deeply appreciate that. And Mr. Chairman, I'll just say very quickly, I'm a former OMBer. I was a career staffer at OMB in the Interior Branch, and I know how that place works. And I know this budget was shoved down the throats of our agencies, and I hope you'll work with us to fix what's broken in it. So appreciate it. Thank you. I yield back.